The courtroom sat silent. All eyes were on the stoic figure of Donald Trump, former president, now defendant. As the guilty verdict was read, Donald Trump's composure never changed. The man who once held the highest office was now a convict. The weight of the moment was immense, a stark reminder that everyone and anyone can face a two-tiered justice system. The verdict, broadcast live, ignited a firestorm of debate. Was this a victory for justice or a politically motivated witch hunt? The questions lingered. The nation, already fractured, seemed to splinter further. The gavel had fallen, but the tremors were far from over. In the aftermath of the verdict, America became a cacophony of voices. Pundits, politicians, celebrities, and citizens all weighed in. The nation's airwaves crackled with outrage and elation, fear and hope. On one side, there was a sense of catharsis, a belief that justice had prevailed. Years of anger at Trump's impunity found release in the guilty verdict. This was a victory for the soul of American democracy. Yet for many others, the verdict was a bitter pill to swallow. They saw it as a politically motivated attack, a deep state conspiracy. Accusations of a rigged system filled the air. The divisions were stark, the rhetoric often inflammatory. The verdict had ripped open old wounds and exposed the fragility of America's social contract. The Trump verdict highlighted the glaring disparities in America's justice system. Justice in America often sees color, class, and political affiliation. The ideal of equal justice under law felt more like a distant aspiration. Black and brown communities, disproportionately targeted, often found themselves ensnared in a punitive system. Meanwhile, the wealthy and well-connected seemed to operate under different rules. Their crimes rarely resulted in the same level of scrutiny or punishment. The Trump case served as a potent symbol of a system that protected the powerful while punishing the marginalized. Could America ever truly reckon with this fundamental flaw? The Trump verdict joined a long line of high-profile cases exposing flaws in the justice system. Trials of Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, and Eric Garner highlighted systemic racism in law enforcement. The acquittal of George Zimmerman became a rallying cry for racial justice. The history of American justice is replete with examples of racial bias and discrimination. The Trump verdict drew comparisons to cases involving the wealthy and well-connected, fueling perceptions of a two-tiered system. The Trump case highlighted the stark contrast between the treatment of the privileged few and the burdened many. The wealthy can afford top-tier legal representation, navigating the legal system with ease. Public defenders, often overworked and underpaid, cannot provide the same level of attention. This imbalance creates a system where justice is often tilted in favor of those who can afford it. The consequences erode public trust and perpetuate a cycle of poverty and incarceration. The Trump case underscored the need for a more equitable justice system. The Trump verdict reignited the debate. Does power shield individuals from accountability? Throughout history, those in authority often operated above the law. Even in democracies, the powerful enjoy a level of protection unavailable to ordinary citizens. Their wealth and influence afford them access to top lawyers and favorable media coverage. The Trump case highlighted the enduring question of whether power undermines accountability. The case brought into sharp relief the issue of power and privilege in the justice system. The image of Lady Justice represents the ideal of impartiality and fairness. However, the Trump verdict exposed the truth that justice is often influenced by prejudice and human flaws. The legal system is shaped by implicit biases and power dynamics. Jury selection can be fraught with challenges, leading to unrepresentative juries. Media coverage can sway public opinion, influencing jurors. The Trump case highlighted the complexities and imperfections of the justice system. The Trump verdict highlighted the corrosive influence of money in the justice system. The principle of equal justice under law often rings hollow. The disparity between the resources available to the prosecution and the defense is glaring. High-powered legal representation can significantly influence the outcome of a trial. For those who cannot afford such representation, the consequences can be dire. Campaign contributions play a significant role in judicial elections. Judges, supposed to be impartial, are often beholden to special interests. This conflict of interest undermines public confidence in the judiciary. The Trump case underscored the need to address the influence of money in the justice system. The Trump verdict served as a reminder of the influence of race and ethnicity on justice. Black Americans are incarcerated at a rate 5 times higher than white Americans. This disparity is rooted in systemic racism. The school-to-prison pipeline disproportionately affects black and brown students. Zero-tolerance policies create an environment where minor infractions have life-altering consequences. The death penalty is applied with a stark racial disparity. The Supreme Court's decision in McCleskey v. Kemp made it nearly impossible to challenge death sentences based on racial bias. The Trump case highlighted the need to address racial disparities in the justice system. The Trump verdict presented an opportunity for reflection and a call to action. The flaws in the justice system demand comprehensive reform. Reforming the cash bail system is a crucial first step. Addressing racial disparities in policing and sentencing is paramount. Restoring trust in the judiciary requires addressing the influence of money in judicial elections. The Trump case underscored the need for a more just and equitable system. The verdict is in, and the nation finds itself at a crossroads. The Trump case has sparked a national reckoning with uncomfortable truths. Now is the time for action, for a collective effort to mend the frayed threads of justice. The task ahead requires a fundamental shift in perspective. It demands acknowledging systemic racism and implicit bias. It requires demanding accountability from those in power. The fight for justice continues. The question is, will you be a bystander, or will you raise your voice and demand a better future?